Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to triple them, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Good evening, everyone. So today is Saturday, the 2nd of 2021. This is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. Hello everyone. Hello Toon. Hello Sandra. Hello Margaret, Manish, Karina, Yvonne, and everyone. I am feeling like still in the state of meditation. My mind is feeling of this passion and also feeling of withdrawing from this worldly matters. As I was contemplating this afternoon, just before I came to give a talk, that we all want to have a happiness. We all desire happiness. And this happiness, again, we are conditioning, and we were conditioned too, both conditioned and conditioning. It's quite difficult to express in a very limited knowledge of this language the experience that I am having today. That we all defining ourselves through some form of identities, some form of culture and nationalities. And with this, we are in a way projecting or illustrating ourselves under the curtain, behind, through these curtains of nationalities and culture and religion, names and kind of thing. And with that, we are, in a way, separating ourselves from the society, so-called the universal or universality. And this 2021 has so many things to reflect, that Brexit, now UK formally independent, and wanted to be independent. They can make own decisions. And meanwhile, there is a growing sense of a separation between other part of the states in the UK, like Scotland, or even a Northern Ireland, or Wales. Thinking of the past, and what's happened in the past, taking those as the fact. And we are conditioning ourselves as we suppose the politicians would like us to be conditioned, what they have in agenda, we are also conditioning. And with that we hold on to this view of me, mine, my nation, my country, my ethnicity, and so and so. And with that, what all education we have been having, teaching us to unite, teaching us to be a brotherhood, teaching us to be living in harmony, cohesively, beyond the race, religion, creed, and nationality, ethnicities. But what this modern education has done, the more we become educated, the less we become connected with one another. And this is what makes me feel like that what form of a happiness that we are looking for, and what am I doing, what each and individuals are playing in this role to get the happiness. And when I was reflecting myself, my own status as a Buddhist monk from Asia, living in here in Scotland, where I feel like a home, where I feel like a connected, so feel like I am. But again, whatever I am doing here, again, it is a form of like propagation of what I think is the right, what I think people should follow. And this is again my personal view, that I think is the right, I think is the truth, and then rest of the other people should be following me, kind of that thought. Then I contemplate on that and reflected that, who am I? You know? And why am I doing this? For who? So it reflected my own deep consciousness myself, that such a deep thought and reflection I was. And with that, I was kind of feeling not ready to give a talk, not ready to even teaching. And I felt like I supposed to be practicing, I supposed to be developing myself. Why am I being like the abbot, taking so many responsibilities, and meanwhile teaching? And I supposed to be a learner for the liberation. And here I am, with the limited knowledge that I have acquired through over the period of a time or years of being a monk. Now everyone thinks that Ajahn Sujan is knowledgeable, and Ajahn Sujan knows and the teaching and some form of like that. And I was reflecting, what do I know? And what people are learning, and what for? So it's kind of a miserable question of what, why, continued throughout this evening reflection time. And it's kind of a law of karma, or it reflects me about the karma, the action. So with this year 2021 that we have just stepped in and day 2, we need to ask ourselves that what we know and what we are doing, is it for the personal benefit or just for the survival? Or whatever you are saying or whatever you are trying to teach another person, is that your ego? Or is that you, what you think is right and some other people should be believing in? So it's quite interesting reflection I had this evening about these works and the people and the society that we are living in these days. We have created so many boundaries after boundaries, and then whatever we wish, if we do not get it, we go on marching for own benefit and own happiness in order to satisfy ourselves. Now, before education, that worldwide, every communities were living together in their own communities, and as education spread, we began to know about the different people, different world, different countries, different ethnicities. And people began to migrate, moving from one place to another, seeking the securities in different forms and hoping for the better future, better life. But end of the day, again, when we look at it, despite they have left the countries, let's say the countries or ethnicities, they retain all those beliefs, and with that cannot mingle in, cannot tuning in. And this again brought the separation. Separation in emotionally, or separation mentally, physically, like that. So we have to check ourselves that how much am I projecting myself as such and such, or taking as a universal just one object in this vast universe. When you look at the galaxies, even our Earth that we think is so huge, it takes many days or even a week to travel throughout the world. It's very tiny, and within this tiny, but that's so big for us, and we are. It's like ants, small ants that we will look at when they are traveling. And yet we have this big ego. So we need to check. So that's why, according to Buddha's teachings, when we look at it, we see that every action that we do, it does matter to ourselves, and then that affects to others. Now, education is supposed to be helping us to blending in without any boundaries, without any prejudices, without any separations. And that again comes from the having a right attitude about oneself and then the world. If we are thinking only about oneself, then we will be thinking only for our own good. And further on, you may be thinking only for your own community. Further on, you may be thinking about own ethnicity. Further on, you may be thinking about your own country alone. It is not good enough. When I was looking at the teachings of the Buddha, in the past, I do have this belief that the majority of the discourses, particularly from the Digha Nikaya, the long discourses, I understand that Buddha always very diplomatic and always accepting others' view, but in the meantime encouraging everyone to blending in. But again, when I reflect on that, I feel myself that is my belief, that is my understanding, and I am trying to convince others, those who are listening. So it reflects me that we are all, from the childhood, brainwashed by some way or another. And doesn't matter whether the fact is truth or not, maybe false, but because we have been conditioned or programmed from the very early age, information that we receive may not be right, may be wrong, but over the period of a time we were told that that is right, then we take it as a right, and it will be very, very difficult to change that view, that perception. And this is where I would say need a wise reflection, contemplating on ourselves, our understanding, the information that we know, information that we have. We need to investigate again and again, revisiting it again and again, and questioning with a rational, not emotional. There's two different things here. When we meditate, we are not rationalizing it, but we are feeling it. Whereas when we are investigating, we have in different ways of doing it. And this is what even the Buddha's teaching, the qualities of the Dhamma encourages us to investigate. So that's why Buddha didn't say that, come and believe me what I have said. But he said, come and see. So, come and see. Investigate yourself. It's called yoniso manasikara. Investigating wisely on your own with a right attitude. And that will bring the true understanding about our own self, about our own understanding. And that is the way to liberating ourselves, enlightening us, and free from preconcepts that we have, or all the perceptions about all the information that we have about the world, about the politics, about the environment, about our own life, and so and so. And that is the true knowledge. So, in my understanding, Buddhism is nothing more than changing our perception, which is preconditioned or preconcept, to the real perception of a reality. And this reality doesn't matter where we are from. Outside, the cover may be different, but inside, all are same. It's like the blood. Doesn't matter where are we from, whether in Asia, America, Europe, UK, wherever are we from, Africa, we have a different color of skin, but the color of a blood is always red. So reality is such, like that. And that perception doesn't matter where we are from, doesn't matter who will investigate. The color of a blood is always blood. And that is what a Buddha or Buddha's teachings is trying to encourage us to change our preconcept that we have, this perception of about world, about ourselves, and changing into the real perception, the real knowledge in a very small particles, that everything made out of the elements. Some objects are having a greater one element than the other three, and that's why different forms we have, different layers or different levels of a hardness and a softness we have. But at the end of the day, these are roots from elements that brought up. So that's why we need to check, we need to change, and we need to recheck again, revisiting all the information that we have, revisiting all knowledge that we have, revisiting every understanding that we have. And before your investigation and understanding of it, we shouldn't take it as the fact. And that is the changing perception. And this is what we need to develop. And again, this is my reflection. And you don't need to believe me, and you don't need to take it as the truth. But as a listener, all the information that I have given you, again, you need to reflect, revisit, think about it, and come to your own conclusion, which is not only for your own sake of goodness, but also for the sake of the reality to the humanity. So thank you. I would like to thank you everyone for listening and all the supports. I will end here for the tonight's reflection. Nothing much, just my own feelings and reflections that I got it from this evening. This came and share with you. So in a few moments time we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night, and may the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. Sadhu.